All right, so I'm going to review with you the rotations activity in Geogebra and make sure you understand the patterns here. And so what I've done is I have created a polygon. I did a triangle. You should have done a triangle or a quadrilateral, either one. And I've rotated this triangle 3 times, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. That's all in the counterclockwise motion. And I went ahead and already recorded the ordered pairs in this table here. And so we're going to talk about the patterns that we see. And so from my original point, which again is x comma y, when I rotated 90 degrees, I ended up with -3, -2. And then you can see in B and C how that was different as well. And so what I notice here is that this -2 moved to the y spot, just like this 2 moved to the y spot. And then the 3 that was in the y became negative and moved to the x. Again, just as the 4 that was in the y moved to the x but became negative. So the pattern that I see here when I rotate 90 degrees is that for my rotation, what was x now becomes y. So I'm going to put the x where the y was. And my new x value is what was the y value, but it's the negative of that. So rotation of 90 degrees is going to be -y comma x when the original is x, y. Now we're going to look at rotating 180 degrees. So for this, I see that my x is what the x was, but negative. Same thing here and same thing here. So my x is going to be -x, and my y is also negative. So they don't switch places, but they both become negative. So again, if the original point is xy, then the rotation of 180 degrees, which is counterclockwise, but just so happens that rotating 180 counterclockwise is the same as rotating clockwise 180 degrees. So that's no different there. Is going to be -x, -y. Lastly, looking at rotating 270 degrees. So my y becomes my x, y becomes x, y becomes x. So this is going to be y, comma. And then my x value becomes my y, but again, it's the negative version of that. So you can see that rotating 90 and 270 are opposites. So you need to make sure that you have this table filled in correctly, otherwise you will not be able to do your practice problems correctly. This rule will be true for any rotation of 90, 180, or 270 counterclockwise when your center of rotation is the origin. That's the only time this applies, is when your center of rotation is the origin, which is all we're worried about for this purpose.